Oh, hey everybody. After a couple of weeks, the Lotus Lounge is back. So it's been busy around here, but it's September 7th, and we are back in the Lotus Lounge to talk to you this week. And if you notice, pardon my looking over at screens over your shoulder, but it's this week we're talking about redefining beauty through the redefining beauty through the Baikal microcrystal treatment. Keri knows a lot about this. We're going to talk about it, but the gist of it, of us bringing this into the series of our recent conversations is, we're talking about holistic approaches, natural approaches to things that we can do for ourselves, and a lot of people, predominantly women, are looking at anti-aging. Things that they can do for anti-aging, and we're going to, not me, because Keri is our resident expert. She's going to talk a little bit more about that. Some of the things that people do, and once again, it's mostly women, but men as well. Some of the things that they do and the risks that are associated with them, and then why Baikal is a fantastic alternative. So, Keri? Over to you.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought this was an important topic because I feel like there's this broad acceptance that a lot of these treatments that people seek and spend a lot of money for, frankly, are just safe, just to have this blanket safety surrounding them. And I can't say that they're fully informed prior to receiving some of these treatments.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know for myself, I've always gone the natural route.
Mm-hmm.
I always promised myself in my younger years, even 10 years ago, that I wouldn't resort to some of these treatments because of the risk factor and my values,
or the unknown factor.
The unknown factors, the risk factors,
mm-hmm.
did not align with my values.
Yeah.
So although I do want to look younger, I want to look amazing for my age,
mm-hmm.
I wasn't willing to take away my values mm-hmm. in order to get those benefits. Sure. So I think it's really important for people to have an understanding of the risks involved with these treatments.
Mm-hmm.
These are risks that you don't necessarily hear about, because if you did, you may think twice about receiving them.
Well, just to clarify for people too, these are risks that can be associated with aesthetic or medical aesthetic treatments mm-hmm. that people look to, predominantly women, as you mentioned in the Facebook lead-in post, look for anti-aging. So
correct. So I'm going to go through some of the risks associated with these treatments.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too far into depth, but just to give you an understanding of the risks involved, mm-hmm. and so that you're able to weigh the risks associated with your current state of health
okay.
and your values.
It looks like we're going to touch briefly on 5 different things today, just real quick.
5 different treatments. The first one we're going to touch on is Botox.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really popular treatment. My problem with this treatment is not just facial neuromuscular issus like a sagging eye.
mm-hmm.
I did have a client who had a sagging eye for like 6 weeks, or headaches. These are symptoms that we would, I guess, view as not real serious. It will go away. But what I'm mostly concerned about is the spread of the toxin.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be.
It is a toxin.
It is a toxin. It's
neurotoxin.
The botulism toxin.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be guaranteed that it's going to stay localized. it can potentially travel and affect your nervous system and your brain. And so neurological issues are what is associated with Botox treatments as a risk factor. And on the Botox box, there is a black box warning that is not discussed with clients prior to treatment.
Yeah.
So I feel this is serious and people really need to take it seriously. With fillers, my main concern is immune system responses or hyperreactivity to the injection. Also, reactions and infections associated with an injection. Mainly, my clients are mostly concerned about the filler material, like maybe it's hyaluronic acid. There's they can be named under different pharmaceutical trade names.
Yeah.
But the fear that those fillers are going to migrate to other areas of the face. So you have to be really careful about doing facials, massage, anything post-treatment. But again, that would be looked at as not real serious and preventable, but immune system responses and hyperreactivity of the immune system is more serious. And also more serious reactions would be like heart issues, necrosis of the skin, and or vision loss. This was posted on PubMed trials. So
you sent that to me. I took a quick look, and it was like, and there wasn't just one. There were several studies, the starts of studies being looked at. Oh, we have a Coco B sighting, so out of the way, Coco. She's going to join as co-host this week. There were several studies, and they were post COVID, talking about, or at least the initial one that we took a quick look at, but the gist of it was looking at post COVID and inflammatory reaction or potential inflammatory reaction that was occurring after, if people had an issue with COVID, they caught it, and or the vaccination from it. So things can react with other things. So anyway, I think that's just important to point out. It's like, and like with a lot of with Botox and fillers and such too, the longer you do them, the more potential there is for something to happen. So if young women start using Botox or fillers as preventative aging early on to stop something, that's like, there's a Pandora's box that can be opened. So anyway, I didn't get off tangent, but I think that's important to mention real quick for people.
Well, and I cringe when I hear about young women in their 20s and early 30s getting Botox as preventative. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard, honestly. Well, I mean, there's been lots of insane things I've heard over the years, but this really is right up there.
Yes, but I digress. So let's jump on to the third thing, which I believe are lasers.
Lasers, yes. Lasers. So what you really have to worry about with lasers are burns, damage to protein structures such as collagen and elastin. And now that's exactly what you want to protect if you're looking at anti-aging treatments, not damage to. Of course, DNA damage, added oxidative stress, and phototoxicity. So you become extremely reactive to the sun when you're receiving laser treatments. So you either have to avoid the sun completely, which a lot of people do. I mean, that's really your only safest bet, is that you really avoid that sun.
Sure. Well, if you stop and you think about it, you're supposed to wear the proper eyewear, protective eyewear, when you're receiving or administering laser treatments, as you're aware. So preventative, so otherwise you can damage your eyes. So, I mean, which goes to say you can damage your skin if it's done improperly or too frequently, or anyway. So
Right. Well, I mean, it is radiation.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, it can damage your retina, and
Mhm.
your overall vision is compromised if you're not
Yeah.
protecting your client's eyes as well as your own
Yeah,
eye
correct.
as
So
the technician.
yep. So there's three things: Botox, fillers, lasers, and now we're on to microneedling.
So what scares me about microneedling the most is reactions to numbing creams.
Hmm.
Now, Chad, if you remember when we were introducing microneedling into our own business in those early days,
Mhm.
we were told we had to have an EpiPen
Mhm.
on hand for people who would possibly respond negatively to a numbing cream. And that really was a wake-up call for me, that this is not the way I want our business and practice to go. And this is at that time I had the assumption that microneedling was a holistic treatment, was very safe, but there are risk factors involved. And besides the numbing cream, it's basically risk of infection and also hyperreactivity, immune issues as well.
Mhm.
So chronic itching is associated post-treatment, although rare, it can happen. Hyperpigmentation due to long-term chronic inflammation that can be semi-permanent. They call it post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation.
Mhm.
That is also a risk factor with microneedling, especially if you have a darker skin type.
Yeah. For
So,
people with darker skin types, this is not a preferred treatment for folks with darker skin types, and yet many of them are not told that.
correct. Or technicians will attempt to artificially treat the skin to
Mhm.
suppress the expression of
Sure.
melanin.
Sure.
So that is something that's very common, typically with tyrosinase inhibitors and retinols and retinoid creams
Yep.
is how they suppress that
I
expression.
do remember specifically a few folks thanking you for, like, I was not told that before. I'm glad you did. So
Right.
it's
Right.
very
I mean, of course, we want every client to be a candidate, but not every client is naturally
it's
a
a
good
natural account.
candidate.
Yeah. So there's four things, and our fifth. So we've done the Botox, fillers, lasers, and microneedling, and now the fifth thing, peels.
Peels.
Before we move into the micro or the Baikal. So anyway, go ahead.
So with peels, again, there is a risk of burning the skin. I mean, peels are acids and they need to be handled with care and responsibility. Again, with peels, you have that immune system hyperreactivity response that can happen. Phototoxicity as well, like after a peel or during a series of peels, your skin becomes extremely sensitive to the sun. And again, that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation due to chronic inflammation is also a risk factor. So again, especially in darker skin types. Extreme cases, I heard a story from a previous client, a male client. He was obsessed with his skin because he had once suffered from teen acne, and he was under the care of a doctor, getting a medical grade peel, so a deep peel, and he kept prompting her to leave it on longer, make it stronger. I'm trying to remember the details of the story, but anyway, he went into cardiac arrest.
Okay. So you can push it too far with some of the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it was her responsibility as the doctor to say no,
Yes.
but
But that's going to be the case with practitioners and licensed people that inform patients. They're not always informed, which is why we're mentioning some of this stuff with these 5 things. Obviously, it's not going to be a common everyday occurrence, but there are risks involved with these, and depending on how they're done, that people should be aware of. So,
yes.
So just to recap real quick, we touched on Botox, fillers, lasers, microneedling, and peels. And now you're gonna inform us a little more on the Baikal microcrystal treatment, which, by the way, folks, this month is 20% off, which is a fantastic, scorching deal. It's exclusive to us in the area. I mean, if you're watching us from other areas, maybe have somebody nearby, but for us, we're offering a 20% off this month. So smoking. So Keri, let's talk about what is Baikal microcrystal treatment.
So this is my absolute favorite treatment because it's effective, it's relaxing, and it is, again, it is one of its kind, but that is the Baikal microcrystal derma infusion treatment. And basically these microcrystals, these minute, very small crystals, are derived from a very specific sponge, the Lubomirskaya sponge, which is only found in Lake Baikal, which is like in Siberia somewhere.
Yeah. It's essentially the absolute middle of nowhere.
Absolutely right. But it's a very clean, cold, highly oxygenated lake.
Extremely
and
deep.
Men, maybe women too, have to dive deep to get these in very cold water to extract these Lubomirskaya sponges and get these valuable extracts and microcrystals for use in pharmaceuticals, cosmeceuticals, etc. And so what these microcrystals do is they penetrate the skin. Like I said, they're very, very small, and they're able to penetrate the skin. And when they penetrate the skin, they form these like little micro channels. So slight wounds to the skin. These slight wounds is what prompts the skin to rejuvenate itself. Now, this is what every aesthetic anti-aging treatment is based on, is the skin rejuvenating itself through controlled wounding. So this is what the microcrystals do, but without puncturing the skin, without numbing cream, without toxicity, without invasiveness, without the chance of immune system reactivity, without the chance of infection, without the chance of neurological issues. I could go on, and the treatment is effective, and people love it. I have people that fall asleep. Now, is there any discomfort? Well, like the microcrystals feel kind of like, depending on your pain tolerance, either grains of sand underneath the skin or blades of glass underneath the skin.
Well, tiny, tiny, tiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that feeling that you have under the skin will last for up to 3 days. So every time you touch your skin post-treatment, it's going to activate those crystals, and you're going to feel like, there's glass particles.
They're going to do their job.
They're doing their job, yes. And you're going to feel, there's like glass under my skin or sand under my skin. So this is how the treatment works. And my clients who have done this treatment, a lot of them will fall asleep because it's also relaxing. The duration of the treatment, it is relaxing. You're not in an uncomfortable state, but it is effective, and you do feel it working. And that's the thing. People love to feel it working. Well, you're going to feel it working. And just like with any other treatment out there, it's best if you do it in a series of treatments to, reaffirm the action. And it's best if you have the proper home care, again, to support what we're doing in the treatment room. And in my opinion, that you have the right diet and you have the right nutraceuticals to help really build that collagen, elastin, mucopolysaccharides, that rejuvenation from within. You can go as far as you want to go with this. You can come in and get one treatment, be a one and done, and just get the experience and love it. Or you could really do it to change the appearance of your skin. It's really up to you how much time, how much money you want to invest in yourself.
Well, it's still price wise well below what a lot of these other treatments are that people pay a lot of money for.
Absolutely.
And
And
so you
these
can roll it in as you can roll it in as like one of your facials during the year, or you can, like you said, you can roll it in as a series, so it's not like you can choose, they can discuss with you or their esthetician wherever the handful of places this is provided. It's not terribly common, folks. It's very, very exclusive. So
it's exclusive to us in all of Arizona currently.
Yeah, and some nearby regions as well. So
real quick, I do want to mention that the microcrystals, they are very expensive.
They are.
I mean, just the process of obtaining those lubrimuscular sponges and the process of the breaking it down so you get those microcrystals. I mean, it should tell you, yeah, it's an expensive treatment. This is not a cheap, discount treatment.
Well, but it's not terribly expensive either. So, I mean, relative to other things. So,
well, relative to other things, absolutely.
Yes. So, compared to maybe a standard facial, just use that term. Yes, it costs more, but it's also not. You're not dropping thousands. It's not like you're going in one of those places and coming out going, "Whoa, I just needed a mortgage." No, nothing. So I just want to make sure the context is proper. So
yes, no. It's more of a car payment, not a mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Well, an old car payment. Some of them these days are really nasty.
It's true. An old car payment. Very true.
So anyway, okay. Is there anything else on the treatment before we wrap up, or is that?
Yes. I just want people to know that there's two versions of the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
One is Baikal by itself. The other is Baikal with bioadaptive microcurrent, which is a feedback loop where, well, I don't want to get into the ins and outs of it, but this bioadaptive microcurrent treatment has the ability to really reset the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's why people are falling asleep, as well as tighten and lift muscle and tissue. So that's, there's two versions, and then you can just focus on eyes and lips if you want as well.
Okay, great. So basically, folks can look at our website, just lotusevolutions.com. To learn more, just look up the Baikal treatment. We're also revamping the website in the coming months too. So exciting news. So stay tuned for that. But once again, Baikal treatments are 20% off at Lotus Evolutions Holistic Spa this month. So if you were thinking or you're considering looking at trying it, or you haven't even visited us yet, if you're one of those folks, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to take advantage of something that's really remarkable. Really encourage you to do that. So anyway, okay. Well, I think we've hit on everything this week. So just to do the fast recap, Baikal microcrystal treatment is a natural alternative that's non-toxic, non-invasive to fillers, injectables, microneedling, and it's a fantastic alternative, as we said, to all those things, and more as well. So the Botox, it's a great alternative to Botox, fillers, lasers, microneedling, and peels. Really encourage you to look at it if you're interested, and reach out to us or check out the website if you'd like to learn more or book an appointment. So anyway, I think that's a wrap, Keri.
Yeah. Until next week.
Yeah.
Have a great week.
We'll see you on the next Lotus Lounge, folks.